continuing here, I just wanted to finish off this business about loving our enemies and why it's logical to do so. Well, the most clear evidence, the greatest evidence, is that it's written so that God loves your enemy, and to emulate God properly, imitate, reflect, represent Him properly, we must do this thing. We must learn, and we must put aside our false opinions and beliefs about this, our training often. That we need, that the best thing to do is just be honest with yourself, right? And hate your enemy. If you hate them, you hate them. And here's why you hate them. Their fruits are rotten. They stink to high heaven. They're on the highway to hell. They're damned to hell, and all this. We get that. Okay, yeah, that's, on its face, right? That's just a given. So we all get the reasons why, the logic behind hating our enemy. But you see, it's ungodly, and we so often get into these modes of ungodliness in our thinking. It starts there in our hearts and minds. The kind of two are inextricable. The heart and mind kind of work together. And so we're screwed up, and we're not thinking the way we should, because, it just stands to reason that hating your enemy is what they want. Okay, this is when they can shelf you and disempower you by so doing and have that one up. They are the greatest money lovers, so they're willing to do anything to have that money. Do you understand? Things you say, that's insane. Why would they compromise? Why would they sell their soul? In your mind, that's, without even thinking it, that's what you're feeling. You're appalled. You're flabbergasted. You can't believe, how could anybody, I wouldn't trade there's so many things I would not do for money. I wouldn't hurt an animal for money. Okay, don't tell me to hurt a puppy dog. Okay, don't say, don't offer me, don't dare try me and offer me $1 million to hurt an animal, an innocent animal. I can't do it. Okay, I can't do it. I have compunction, and I'm so glad I have compunction. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, hunting animals and cooking them and killing them and all that sort of, killing them to cook them and eat them. Look, now that's our paradigm currently. In this fallen world, that's the paradigm we have. So I eat fish and I'll eat birds occasionally. I don't want to be a big fat hypocrite. Who knows when I'll decide, oh, I'm going to eat a steak again. But I've gone many years. I don't feel a need to eat most animal products. So, but I don't judge anyone. I don't hold it against anybody that does. But the point is that that's going to be a thing of yesteryear. But there's just all these things that most people, wouldn't do for money. They wouldn't compromise their integrity, their honor, their conscience for any amount of money. There's just a whole slew of things. I could go on all day, all of us could, with all the things we wouldn't do for money, right? Because we have virtue, okay? And virtue is a good thing because you want to be somebody that enjoys ethics and moral fiber and having a good character and all those things that we value as normal, godly people, with the right values. So this is where we've got to understand these people that are evil are not lost causes, even though they look like it, because they're so far gone. They're so entrenched in the evil goings on that these are the drivers. These are the puppet masters. These are the people at the very top of this world system, this beastly world system that's run by money. That's it. It's all about money. We all know that, but we don't really talk about it. We don't really say, well, what's it going to take to change this thing? And that's what I'm trying to do. That's all I do. I'm a voice in the wilderness, and I'm just going to keep doing what God says I ought to be doing. I'm just trying to serve God, be His friend. His yoke is easy, His load is light, but I got to get things off my chest. I mean, I know that humanity can live together in peace and harmony and safety and security and freedom and prosperity and be happy and content and blissed out, man. We could serve each other with a song in our lips and joy in our hearts and a bounce in our steps and just have fun doing it, man. We don't need the freeway traffic. I'm talking about everything bad about society. You think there's overpopulation because, yeah, there's all this traffic on the freeway. How much more can it, sustain? We got 10 lanes now. What, do we go to 20? I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it. We could end that tomorrow. A basic income, there's a perk. End that. The criminal industrial complex would be hurting for business because crime would plummet overnight. And dubious war would be much harder to get started. Okay, when guys were wanted everywhere, they looked, they were wanted. Hey, come on over here, work, help us. Do what we do. This is fun. Come, build houses. And, no, work for the water department. No, this, that, the next thing. All these useful, productive things we could be doing. Work in this factory. It's great, man. We have this great lounge, and we got this going on, that going on here. So, we got, child care here and over at this place. I mean, everything is just hunky dory. Okay, we could have that. And, but you understand that these people don't want that. They don't. They would be rendered irrelevant. And they don't want to be just another face in the crowd. These people are not content. So they'd be miserable. Okay, you understand, God is they're trying to put them between a rock and a hard spot, saying, hey, look, we're not going to relent. We're going to keep pushing the envelope. We're going to keep being evil. We're going to keep oppressing the people more and more and more, getting a stranglehold through impoverishing them, keeping them down, stealing their wealth. This is how we steal their wealth, debasing their currency. We got to stay on this trajectory. We can't taper a Ponzi scheme. We can't taper a pyramid scheme. We're just on the road. Yeah, we're on the road to destruction. I mean, you tell me what it's going to take. I mean, that's their attitude. And that's why I say, man, I mean, we're hitting right now with people getting understanding and realizing, hey, I need to be empowered and lift my fair share of the cross of this thing, and just getting it and conveying it to others that, we have very unsound economic policies. We haven't had America since 1963 at the assassination of JFK, who was abolishing the central bank, at that time, the Federal Reserve, was already circulating a new currency to supplant it, silver certificates, silver notes. How the Federal Reserve wishes, we could forget that history, but I don't want anybody to forget that history. I mean, Quay Bono, who benefits, what the hell? It's as clear as the light of day. It's glaringly obvious. These people shouldn't exist. The Federal Reserve shouldn't exist. They shouldn't have existed since 1963 for any just appearance of impropriety. And knowing that JFK was taking the steps to actually sign an executive order, 11,110, to abolish the Federal Reserve, I mean, it's obvious who's at the very top, who the puppet masters are here. It's those that are right in deep with the money printing class. Okay, and I mean, this wealth disparity, this is not a joke. This is not cute or funny. True capitalism would have done the opposite. Okay, not through socialism, not from the Robin Hood thing, taken from the haves and given to the have-nots, wealth redistribution, all that crap that doesn't work, just creates wanton animosity when you steal people's money. Yeah, of course, duh. I mean, don't be idiot socialist. If you're going to be a socialist, be one that's smart at least and understand the things I'm saying. I mean, you say, yeah, he's basic income, he's a socialist. No, I'm a fiscal conservative. Okay, I know it'd be vastly cheaper to hang on a second, I'm plugging my computer. It'd be vastly cheaper to just do this thing. And can you imagine, look, the people that don't have any money to spend to fix their car right now or put new tires on their car, safety on the highway right there, they'd be able to with a basic income. So where's that money going? It's going into local businesses. Okay, you understand? And, okay, what's going to happen here is, to avoid giving cost of living adjustments, which I think are a double-edged sword, because on one hand, it's only logical if your cost of living goes up to get a cost of living adjustment. Okay, but on the other hand, there's something wrong with the system, intrinsically wrong with the economic system, if there's a need for a COLA. So no, you're supposed to have wage reductions. Okay, but still, you say, well, that's not right. I mean, when we start the game, right here at this level, we just, we want to get better. We want, somehow things to get easier for us. Well, the way that happens is because your currency is increasing in worth. So if you were earning $1 in the early 60s and you're earning 50 cents now, okay, then that 50 cents is actually worth $5 comparatively with the buying power of the dollar in the 60s. Do you understand how this thing works? So it's really not that hard to figure out this, the whys and wherefore, the rhyme and the reason for why supply and demand does this thing, why your currency automatically goes up in worth. But it's there, believe me. It just happens. It's automatic, organic. It happens naturally. But when you have things like the bailout of '08, it can't happen. That would have been a time when you would have had a severe market correction. That's what it's called in capitalism. I mean, when lenders act recklessly, okay, people deserve to lose their butts because when you indebt people, that's a serious business. It's usury and stealing people's homes through foreclosures, deliberation, doing this thing is a scheme, a scam, okay, to take over people's their cost of living tax. So make it harder and more expensive for them to survive, to continue to exist. It's so evil. It's just beastly. And we've all got to sink our teeth into this thing and say, yeah, it's serious, and we've got to confront it. Do it for the next generation, even if you think this generation is a lost cause. Do it because you care, because you got to face God someday. And you want to be right in his eyes. So, get up close and personal. Anyone you think is an enemy, that they don't see the light because they wouldn't be evil, they wouldn't compromise, they wouldn't be predatory toward their fellow human beings, okay, and charging them exorbitant cost of living tax to survive, to exist. I mean, is that living by the golden rule in any way, shape, or form? Does God approve of that behavior? Is that having respect for your fellow man? Is that having regard for your fellow human being? You want respect for your fellow human being? You want regard, you want to have respect from them? You want to have, get regard from them? Then you've got to start. This is a two-way street. It's give and take. It's like walking a refrigerator out. You can't lift the thing, but if you walk it, you can lift half of it a little bit, enough to move it and scooch it over and walk it. So that's how it goes, hand in hand. You want something, then you need to give it. And then you're supposed to, that's saying to the giver, to the one that's given, needs to give back. We all got to work together here to get along and just be empowered and demand justice for the people. I don't know what it's going to take. I've got to let go of those at some point. And if 7,500,000,000 people want to, careen to destruction over the cliff, I've got to be willing to let it go and just say, no, I'm not going there, man. I know what I believe. And I believe that we have to be set free. We must be set free. And I know in order for humanity to be set free, we've got to be free from the money masters of misery. That is a huge form of enslavement, imprisonment. Okay, it's a chain around our necks. They've got us by the throats. Do you understand? And the only way that we are going to extricate ourselves is confronting this fact, knowing it with absolute certainty. When you understand basic, fundamental economic principles, supply and demand, capitalism, this free market thing, that's what we're talking about. You compete. Yes, that's the idea. It's not that, hey, we got to charge more for this thing. No, we got to charge less for this thing. And this is where the action is. Your currency just went up in worth. Now we all have to work less time. You understand? There's less traffic on the freeway. That's what would happen naturally with supply and demand. And your prices consistently go down. Do you understand? How far can they go down? You tell me. Free. Free is a good word. Okay? That is what I firmly believe. I can strongly contend, with every fiber of my being, in fact, that God wants. That's his will for us. Remember, he didn't create money. It's not his fault we got to deal with this monster, this artificial reality. It's an unreality. Okay, the organic suffering is inherent, right? We all know we get diseases. We got to face predators. It's very dangerous to be human, right? Driving your car is very dangerous. All these natural disasters. It's too damn hot. It's too damn cold. That stuff can kill people. Insects that'll bite you. The predators, again, another predator. But you see, there's a lot of organic suffering that we all must contend with across the board. But the kind of suffering I'm complaining about is inorganic. It's invented. It's artificial. It's manufactured. It's conjured up by these people. Okay, these money masters of misery. And by God, I mean, this is the only hope we have. I mean, and like I said, I'm just like you. I love money. God knows it. There's no hope in lying about it. I know, it's to no avail. I can't do it. God knows everything. He knows everything about you and me. I mean, I've never met anybody that said they would turn down $1,000,000 in favor of having a bite of their favorite food. Okay, never. So God knows what's going on here. He knows the seriousness. He knows the gravity of the situation. Okay, this is it's what I mean, man. I'm just scared. I'm just scared that so many people are going to be traumatized by what is coming upon this world. And whatever it is, it's going to take a lot, man, because we've been trained to have thick skulls, man. Short-sighted, narrow-minded, small-minded, brutish beasts, just shy of being automatons.